Welcome to The Fire-Breathing Kittens, an actual play podcast. Every episode microplot is a complete adventure with a beginning and an end that fits into the overarching macroplot of the whole season. Because they stand sturdily on their own, you can listen to these adventures in any order and can skip any you don't enjoy. Today, we are playing using the combat mechanics from a game called Dungeoncaster by Christopher Gray. It's our first time playing, so we might make some mistakes. If you enjoy these mechanics, you can find Dungeoncaster on DriveThruRPG. Build your own Dungeoncaster character and play a game with friends. Speaking of friends, today we are joined by Tracey Cavorte.
Hey, how's it going? It's Tracey Cavorte. For any of y'all who don't know me, I am a startlingly gaunt 3'2" little rabbit person with two real nice handsome looking horns sticking out of my beautiful little brown furred head. I am of the class rogue.
And Hefty Delphus.
Hi everybody, I'm Hefty Delphus. I'm a possum. I'm a fighter, technically, because I use the discipline of archery to do some long-distance ukuleleing. I have 20 uses before a string breaks. I use the discipline of protection to distract an enemy and make them miss. And I use the discipline of melee to attack with volume.
And Freya Bumbleroot.
Hello, I am a 3'2" tall halfling. I'm rather up there. I have steel grey hair and light green eyes. I'm a mage by trade, an illusionist. I don't like to hurt anyone. I'm a pacifist. So I try to use my magic to trick people more than anything else.
You're all in the Fire-Breathing Kittens Guild Hall. The guild is a large building with a bar, a sitting area with wooden tables and chairs, and a wall with a corkboard and job flyers posted. Today, the guild hall is absolutely packed because the Fire-Breathing Kittens is hosting the Fire-Breathing Kittens Idol musical competition. People from Nikamoy have come to the guild hall to enjoy fine music, a couple of beers, and fill the Fire-Breathing Kittens Guild Hall's coffers with their trade and custom. Anyone who wishes to participate in the competition is welcome to do so. You were invited to do so. But also, if you're more interested in being a judge, they have been recruiting judges for the competition for several weeks. As long as you believe you can be impartial, they want you.
Oh, the judges get much more famous than the competitors. I want to be a judge.
Hey, I'm on the same wavelength with you. Plus, I do pass judgment on people all the time, so I'm perfect for the position.
Well, I don't really sing anymore. I think I'd like to be a judge as well.
All right, so the three of you are brought in as judges, and the competition is sort of divided up into different genres, and the guild hall is kind of separated out so the competitors can perform without kind of playing over each other, if you know what I mean. There are a few hotshots who like to do that, so they try to tamp it down a little bit. But the three of you are faced with a increasingly amusing round of performers who are they're all musicians and they're all soloists. Some of them are really good and some of them are just funny. So, given that, Hefty, what is one of the most skilled performers that you pass judgment on?
Well, it's got to be the quick change clothes while harmonicking and one-person banding person. See, at first I thought that they were just changing their clothes, which is a thing I don't really understand. I don't wear clothes. And I was about to do the X, and everyone was like, oh no, Hefty, don't do the X. I love how much the crowd reacts, and I got my paw over the button. And then they whipped out the harmonica, and they started making the beat with the drum, And I don't know how they kept all those instruments attached to them while also changing clothes. The crowd was cheering. Everybody was going crazy.
That is indeed a feat of skill and very impressive. Tracey, you also know a little bit about music, correct?
I like to think of myself as a musician adjacent, yeah.
So, when this performer came on, it was so bad it was funny? Tell us about them.
Yeah, the guy with the singing trio of puppets, where he had like one puppet on each hand and then he had one on his head. That was really good. The one on his head was not singing that great, but the moment they started trying to drink water while the other ones were singing, that sort of just fell to pieces at that point. Maybe he kind of planned that a little bit, but I don't think he did. It was he kind of waterboarded on himself on stage a little bit, but hey, I couldn't get enough of it. That guy's passing on if he can. I mean, not actually, but yeah.
That's great. And Freya, the stories behind these performers is sometimes more compelling than the performance themselves. Tell us a little bit about somebody whose story really tugged at your heartstrings, even though their performance was so-so at best, but their story really got to you.
Well, her name is Samantha Carbuncle, and she's a 45-year-old woman, always thought herself not very attractive, and she came on stage and wowed us with a rendition of a song from my favorite musical called The Miserable.
Lovely, lovely. And so of these three fine performers that you've all sort of taken a shining to, and of course the crowd loves for various reasons, which of these goes forward in the competition?
Oh, well, unfortunately, I did press that X because I kind of got shaky hands and it was fun. And so I did X my performer out. But the crowd loved him. Come back next year.
Well, I think Susanna Carbuncle could really make it forward. She has quite a voice and a great backstory.
Me personally, I like to see people flail about and fail on stage, but you know, if I'm gonna be a good judge, I should probably get people who actually do the thing that they were supposed to do, so that guy's probably not gonna make it through.
So Susanna Carbuncle makes it through to the finals of the competition. And you know, she's got a great voice. She has a tremendous story. She's full of heart, and you know, she's really kind of a crowd favorite, especially with a certain segment of folks who see in her their own dreams coming true. As you're taking a break between rounds of the competition, while Susanna is, you know, getting ready for the finals and everything, Nulisag comes over to you, and he says, Hey guys, good to see you all. Good to see you all. Thanks for stepping up as judges. Appreciate it. Nulisag, of course. Nulisag, of course, is the guildmaster for the fire-breathing kittens. What is he, 2 foot tall gnome?
Yes. One of the only people that I tower above. Hello. Yes, it was a great honor and some such.
Oh, it was my pleasure. You know, anytime I get to sit down and watch young people perform, it just warms my heart.
Well,
Hi, Nulisag.
Hi, Hefty. You, the three of you, I really appreciate you stepping up, and especially since you're fairly new to the guild and everything, and I love to see that kind of fall into your spirit. So listen, here's your ribbons as thank you for being judges, and of course, as part of the payment, you get free drinks at the guild hall for the next week. So congratulations for that. But I wondered if I could have a word with you about something we've noticed. A few people have reported some things going missing. And, well, I mean, it's a little embarrassing because, here we are. We just opened up the guild hall for everybody to come in and so forth. And, well, I'm just a little worried that this is going to be hard on our reputation if we don't resolve this pretty soon. Well, anyway, come with me for a moment. Do you follow him?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just to clarify ahead of time, if this is about the thing about taking bribes, I was doing no such thing.
And he kind of gives you an askance look when you say that, and leads you, the three of you, into the back room, right in the bar, which most even guild members don't usually go back there. It's a fairly well lit room, and there's several kegs of the beers and ales that they serve, kind of stacked up next to the wall. And he says, well, what I wanted to talk to you about is it's pretty serious. We've had a number of people report things going missing. Folks who've been here at the guild hall sometime in the past few days, even a few of our new patrons who came in for this event have, just asked if anyone turned in their favorite pair of gloves or their mother's locket and things like that. And anyway, these things have gone missing. And in fact, I wanted to ask you, Tracey, didn't you used to have a hat? And Tracey, your tricorn hat has been missing for like 2 days.
You're mistaken. I have my tricorn hat hanging from my horn, right? Oh. Somebody has stolen my stolen object.
And he says, I this is what I'm talking about. It's never anything truly, pricey. It's just little things. Norbert, his grandfather's pipe, his favorite pipe, was stolen. And Nug lost one of his melds, Jinkle. And Armando, one of our great swordsmen. If you're going to steal from Armando, you would obviously steal his sword. But no, it was just a good luck charm on a pendant. It's quite. And Freya, didn't you used to have a gray shawl that you loved?
I wondered where that went. I thought I set it down in my house. I've been looking for it for 3 days.
And in fact, Hefty, you also noticed that your trash newspaper, your beloved newspaper, is not where it's supposed to be either.
Oh, but that was from the day that I learned how to talk. And I realized that the scrawling inky stuff that comes off of my fingers were words. And the whole world opened up to me. And I wasn't alone anymore.
Freya comes over and pats Hefty on the shoulder and goes, "Don't worry, dearie. We'll find that newspaper for you."
That is so unbelievably sweet that even I can't make fun of it even a little.
I miss my trash.
And I'm just imagining Hefty doing the opossum scream in that moment, that right. And Nulisek says, well, unfortunately we haven't, because there's been so many people in the guild hall, we don't have any good suspects, but Jingle is always paired with Jangle, Noog's other, I don't really know, they sort of sapient toys anyway, and we think Jangle might be able to maybe give you a report, except of course Jangle is a musical toy and can't really talk. Perhaps the three of you can get some information from it.
Are you implying that we will have to sing-terrogate this toy?
I don't know how you do it.
It's musical. It will sing to us. I don't think we have to sing to it.
Well, I guess we're finding out one way or another here.
All right, So you are brought over to Jangle, which is a little toy that looks, you know, the little monkey toys with the symbols that are kind of creepy, right?
Yeah, the terrifying ones.
Yeah, the terrifying ones. That's Jangle.
Oh, no. With a name like Jangle, I was expecting something a bit less like this.
Well, I knew a man Bojangle, and he loved to dance, and he had worn-out shoes, but he certainly wasn't a monkey with cymbals.
And the monkey just kind of goes clang, clang.
Hefty, would you mind holding off on the ukulele until it's necessary? I'm finding it very distracting.
For the listeners, this will be an episode without ukulele except during combat. It has been requested.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. I don't have to play. I was just doing that because, like, Bard, you know, living up to it.
Yeah. My ADHD was acting up a little bit, and every time I heard that, I was like, ooh, shiny. But Freya's going to approach Jangle and say, Jangle, we're looking for your friend Jingle. Can you tell us anything about the last time you saw him?
And Jangle starts clanging the cymbals as if it's being very chatty. Jing, ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding.
Does anyone speak music?
Is this like a Morse code type of thing? One of those like beep, 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 you know, like SOS? Maybe? I'm spitballing. I mean, I don't speak music.
Jangle just goes, ding.
Okay, so, like, I magically can understand... Like, I don't speak human, if that makes sense. I communicate with humans. So does this make sense to me? Whatever it's trying to do? It's a question of, is it intended to be words?
It seems like it's intended to be words, but it's more syllables. Like it's as if it were speaking through the symbols. Yeah. This might be a charades thing. I don't know.
So you're saying it's symbolic.
It's symbolic. Mm-hmm. Yep, that's it. Thanks.
Perfect.
Thanks, Freya.
Let's get that simple crash from Jangle.
So what I'm going to do here is we're going to introduce the mechanics of Dungeoncaster because I'm introducing a very small threat here. The threat here is that you won't figure out what Jangle saw. And if we were playing in person, I would take out an index card and I would write, I don't know what Jangle saw. And I would put one box on it to represent the threat. And now, as players, Tracey, Hefty, and Freya get to try to decide and narrate how they will approach this threat.
So there's these moves in Dungeoncaster, and one of them is read or understand another.
Yes.
So understand another makes a lot of sense, and that is plus charisma, which is my highest dice. So I think I will take the lead here. Assuming that you guys don't have your highest dice in charisma. What's your highest dice in, so we just know what each other are doing?
I got my highest in force.
That's good to know.
Mine is will.
Hey, look at us being like a good party and everything. Yeah, so I will try to do this for us. It seems like my place. So I will appraise plus charisma to read or understand another. I also should add some dice to this. This is my first time making a roll in Dungeoncaster, and I believe that we're going to roll some dice, and then the highest number on these dice, we're going to add to, not subtract from, add to a d20 roll.
That's correct.
So with my 8d8 in charisma, that's already a pretty good dice, but it wouldn't hurt to add like a d6.
Can I assist her with ally, which is plus will, which generates goodwill or establishes trust?
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, when you're using assistance, which is the actual, like, how you're doing it. You will describe how you're helping, and you loan to the other player the stat die for the move. And then when you're doing that, which in this case would be ally, and whatever the stat die is for that. And when you do that, you can't continue to can't use that stat in the rest of this current stage of this threat, right? Which is fine. It's a pretty low threat, right? And then Hefty gets to add your die to her pool for this die roll. Hefty, I'd also like to point out that if I'm not mistaken, you have a talent that may be useful here as well.
The talent, you know about entertainment and music.
Yeah.
So is that a D6?
Yep. When you have relevant talents, you add a D6.
So that's 2d8 and a d6, and I am halfling lucky. They didn't have possum in the rulebook, so I went with halfling because they're small. And that means I reroll any dice that rolls a 1, just to let you all know before I roll this.
Okay, hold on. Where'd you get the second D6? Is it D8? Sorry.
Mine would be a D8 from me helping.
Oh, with ally. Okay.
Ally.
Got it. Alrighty.
And do you want me to describe what I'm doing to help?
Yes, please do.
So Freya reaches into her big grandma bag and pulls out a small book of Nug's poetry and reads a poem about the need to help others and trust those around them as best I can pull one from Nug's book of poetry.
Well, you know that's in his poetry book, I'm sure. So
somewhere.
Sounds great. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. All right, Hefty.
Your d8 is a 1, which means I reroll any die that rolls a 1. It's a 5. My d8 is a 7. And this d6 from talent is a 3. So that means I'm going to add 7 to this d20 that I roll.
Let's go.
A 17 plus 7 is 24.
Okay, so this is a big, beautiful success. There's no complications with it whatsoever. And so what you learn from Jangle is that they saw, and what they kind of, it's sort of like they kind of half describe, half charades maybe. Maybe you convince them to sketch a little bit or something. But they describe that a small, well, bigger than them, but smaller than Nug, creature came in. It had kind of leathery, scaly skin and a long nose, almost like a dog or a lizard, and a long tail. And it took Jingle and put it in a bag and left.
Question for you. If I think I know what this creature might be from the description, and Freya is an old halfling woman, I assume she would know what a kobold is or a dragonling is.
Oh, sure. There's kobolds all over Nicomoy.
Is this describing one of those?
Oh, definitely.
Okay. Freya is going to tell the group that she suspects there is a kobold with sticky fingers that is responsible for this.
And in fact, there have been several kobolds here at the music festival all week.
So it's a ring of bandits, and they're all stealing emotional valuables.
I don't think we should jump to conclusions and say they're all involved, but it's certainly one. Perhaps we should investigate further and see if anyone else saw some kobolds sneaking around.
Sticking their fingers on things. And now we gotta go find them and unstick some fingers.
All right. So, is that what you all do? You want to go start asking around? Sounds good. Mm-hmm. Now, normally in this kind of situation, you don't have a threat in front of you. You could just kind of start asking. If you want to create a threat because you have a reason to roll your dice, you can do so. It costs an inspiration. Or if you want me to create a threat, which will be probably not the kind of threat that you want, you can have me bribe you with an inspiration.
So you would give us an inspiration?
I will give you an inspiration if you let me create a threat that you probably will not like having happen.
I like that option the best, narratively speaking.
Okay. All right.
Well,
so
I'm throwing that out to the group. I don't want to decide for the group, but I think it would be more narratively interesting if the DM creates a threat for us, unless you guys have a better idea.
I mean, I will probably have plenty of opportunities to use our inspiration. I agree.
Do we all get one?
No, it's going to be for one person, and in this case, since I think Freya is the one to call in for it, I'm going to give it to Freya. So
And
Freya,
remind me what inspiration does again. That's you get to re-roll a dice, right?
Yeah, you can. So inspiration. Let me go get the list out because there's a few things that inspiration does. Hold up, I just had it. Okay, so you could use inspiration to make something true about the setting. If you want to create a threat, you spend inspiration. But you can also add a die, a d6, to your pool. So it doesn't let you re-roll. It lets you add a d6 to your pool.
Cool. Can I just say, if the writer of this is listening, I love the cheat sheet you created that has all the really important stuff. Having played a lot of RPGs, this cheat sheet is amazing, and every other RPG should have one of these if their rules is over 1 page long.
Thanks for sharing that. I'm sure Chris Gray will be thrilled to hear your feedback.
Oh, did I was looking at the cheat sheet and it says players receive inspiration anytime they roll more than a 20
Okay, yep.
on a
yep.
move roll. Does that mean that I got one earlier?
Mm-hmm. There are rules that are easy to overlook. So, okay. So Freya, you're going to start asking around and to find out, who else has seen some of these kobolds and so forth. And what I'm going to say is that the threat here that you're facing, I'm going to make this a 2-stage threat for you, is there are still short and scaly figures in the crowd.
I will try to use my honor move to make a social/moral conviction about how stealing people's, just sort of talk about in general that being an old woman, it's really breaks my heart when people steal things, especially of emotional and sentimental value. Money can be replaced, but oh, my grey shawl that disappeared was given to me by my favorite grandchild. It was their first knitting project after I taught them to knit, and it just breaks an old woman's heart that someone would do such a thing. Can you believe that there's people in this world that would steal such important things?
Now, and you're just kind of saying this out in sort of the crowd, right?
Have you ever had an old person that could talk in generalities, but you knew exactly they were talking to you?
Oh, yeah.
That's what Freya is doing, that and channeling her inner grandmother to guilt trip anybody who knows anything or the person who stole it to come step forward and give her some information.
Excellent. All right. So go ahead and build your dice pool and let's roll your dice. Okay. So you definitely get your will on this, right?
Mm-hmm. So I rolled a 21, I rolled a natural 20, and a 1 on my 8-sided die.
Well, I was going to ask before you rolled, do you think that your talent for having a good mind for weaving things would apply?
I mean, unless it's weaving a tale. Not exactly, unless she talks about the weave of the shawl, but I think that would be trying to shoehorn an extra dice in that I don't feel like I've earned with that.
All right, that's fine. That's totally fine. All right. But 21 is still a full success. So
And I get an inspiration.
You get an inspiration. And so one of those boxes. Yes.
It's a two-step threat, so I don't get a second inspiration unless I pass the other one too.
Correct. Right.
So never mind.
So what happens is that the more short and scaly, shall we call them, attendees sort of start kind of edging away from where you're making these proclamations of moral indignation, and so you see that they're definitely starting to make for the doors. Hefty and Tracey, do you want to try to engage in this threat?
Tracey, you're up.
Exactly. I was thinking, what if while Freya is kind of distracting them, I kind of blend in and try to check everybody that I can, like real subtle, like see if I can't spot anything suspicious on their persons.
Sure. Okay. Sounds good. It sounds to me like maybe you're, do you think you're appraising them, or do you think you're scouting?
I would say I'm scouting purely because that would be more beneficial for me to do.
All right. I'm going to say that's cool because I would say that you're not really engaging with them, right? You're just sort of checking out what they're doing and scouting the situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just because I'm going to ask, are you using the shadows in any way here?
Are there visible shadows in this room?
It's a well-lit bar, but it's also kind of crowded, so...
Well, I'm a short little guy. I could probably weave within the shadows of the taller folk pretty easily.
Sure.
I get overlooked all the time.
Duck under tables. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'd allow it.
All right.
So that's going to give you... that's going to give you a D6 for your talent.
Mm-hmm.
And then your force die, which is... What was that?
It's a D8.
Okay.
But I can also... So for the disciplines, I have a D8 for the stealth discipline when I attempt to confront a threat without being detected.
Do you want to use that here? Because I am pretty sure when you do, that gets does not get used up for the threat or for the scene. Hold up, let me double check. Something that's not on the cheat sheet. Yeah, those are spent. Those aren't just there for forever.
Is that the thing that comes back after you take the 8-hour either sleep or training? Along with undoing harm, you get discipline dice back?
Yeah, you get them back when you rest.
So it's like a daily.
Yeah. So you might not want to use that one right now.
Yeah, I'll hold off on that.
Okay.
I will do the normal things that I do for this.
Sounds good. Okay. All right, so go ahead and roll.
I got a 17.
Is that after you add the highest of the additional dice?
Remind me real quick, how many additional dice do I add?
Okay, so you're getting a D6 for your talent and a D8 for your force. So you roll those, take the higher one of those, and then add it to your D20.
Does not make a difference.
Okay, so you got a 17?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, a 17 is a kind of a partial success, right? It's mixed. So the stage will be resolved. So that's great. But something else is going to happen here. And I think what's going to happen here is they spot you. They spot you checking them out. And they give like a quick little bark at each other. And then they all scatter for the doors. And they are also stealthy. So they kind of kind of disappear into those crowded shadows themselves. So the new threat is they're going to get away. I'm putting 2 boxes on this threat. What would you guys like to do?
It would be just terrible if the crowd condemned the thieves' actions and moved to stop their escape, wouldn't it, guys?
Yeah, that would be pretty terrible.
Yeah, that would be not a great outcome for them, I assume. But perhaps we can solve this without violence of a mob nature.
On the contrary, I feel like violence of a mob nature is the most successful type of violence.
Freya is going to try to cast an illusion to make it seem like the doors are right next to her, that they have to come towards her to get out of this room.
Okay. All right. So that is a discipline of the conjuration spell, right?
It would be discipline of the illusionist spell, because I'm using I'm not actually conjuring doors. I'm creating an illusion.
I know the spell is illusion. It is in the discipline of conjuration.
Oh, it is. I thought it was in the discipline of arcane.
Nope. Arcane is word, transfiguration, and power. Do you want to shuffle your dice around a little bit here?
Yeah, I would like to replace both of my arcane disciplines with conjuration discipline,
Got it.
please.
No problem. Kind of wondered about that, but that's cool.
So I've gone ahead and done that. But yeah, I would like to use that.
Which one would you like to? Which die would you like to use?
I'm going to use my 6-sided die, I think.
Okay, small, complex sensory illusion.
Do you think that's fair for...
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, I don't think you need to make this a large illusion. A large illusion would be something that was like the size of a room or a house or something.
Or moving and talking.
Or moving and talking. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a D6 plus my D20, correct?
So it's a D6 and your D20 and let me just... Yep.
When you use a move, don't you get to like add will, force, or charisma?
I think so, yeah.
I'm also using an illusion, which means I get an extra D6 because that is part of my talents. And then, is it will I use with this?
Depends what move you're using.
Feels like this is, I know
Coerce.
it doesn't sound like it, but it feels like it's coerce, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
Because
probably right.
The description for coerce is influence someone's behavior. And Freya is definitely trying to influence them to go over here.
Okay, so that means I get a D20 plus a D6 plus a D6 plus a D4.
No. Plus the highest of your other dice.
Yeah.
Okay,
so you roll the pool of dice that does not include the D20, get the largest of those, and add that number to the D20 roll.
Okay. A 12 and a 4, so 16.
16. Okay. So you'll resolve one tick of their getting away. But so what happens is that door appears, right? And it's obviously not the only door in the inn. So several of them are going to go for the doors that are actually there. One of them does go for that door though. And he crashes into the wall because there isn't actually a door there, right? So he crashes into the wall next to you. And he kind of staggers back a little bit, kind of stunned for a second. And he looks over at you. And you see that he's a kind of this sort of mottled greenish yellow kobold. And his eyes are all, yellow and slitted and everything. And he hisses at you and he says, "That wasn't a very nice trick, Granny. You're going to regret that, I believe." And he kind of sneers at you for a second. And then he says, "We're going to make you regret it. Just you watch." And then he darts around you and staggers off into the crowd.
And Tracey says, he said we. I knew it was a ring. It's the whole cabal. It's a cabal of lizard people.
It's pronounced Kobold.
It's... He's a cabal of kobolds.
I think we have an episode title. Well, I can't say you're wrong. I didn't want to jump to conclusions at the beginning, but it does seem like they are all involved in some way.
And also, I have to say, you gotta admit, the concussion you may have given that kobold might have only been marginally better violence.
He gave himself the concussion. I just made a door that he ran his head through.
Either way, it was funny to watch.
Hefty, where are you at this point?
I was considering getting the crowd's attention to bring judgment down upon people, so I was heading towards my judge's platform.
Great. You're up there on the judge's platform. The other judges who, had just recently been seated to judge the next round look a little confused at the opossum appearing on their table, but Paula just picks up her diet soda and moves it out of your way. She's very blasé about this kind of thing.
Yeah, rolling with it. Are the Cabal of Kobolds completely gone from the guild hall at this point? Or there's one still in there?
They were dashing out. One of them ran into a wall and is on their way staggering towards what they hope is another door. So there's at least one of them still here.
All right. So both Condemn and Rally use charisma, but it sounds like Freya doesn't want me to condemn anyone. So rallying, which compels others to help, might be better.
Sure.
If I rally them, then maybe they will, instead of mob violence, they'll mob restrain.
Yeah.
It's like in the dance floor when everyone steps away from one person. Or, yeah, so I could try that. Unless, Tracey, there's anything you want to do?
Well, my only plan was just to hunt them down like a hunter. So that sounds like a bit more of a controlled plan, so sure, we'll go with that.
In a crowd, the crowd is your tool, right? I don't know.
Sounds smart enough to me.
That sounds like a bard thing to say. So, Hefty, how are you going to rally this crowd? What are you going to say?
I'm going to use my boon, which is that I can create music.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember if gear gets you a dice at all.
It does. It's typically armor and weapons, but in your hands, a ukulele is like a weapon.
It is. It is literally my weapon. So I'm going to get 2d6 from that. And then I'm going to use my charisma d8. So that's my plan. I'm going to play a little ditty, rally the crowd, get 2d6 and a d8.
All right. And I know we asked for no ukulele, in between musical interludes here, but this seems like a right moment.
Okay. Ukulele permission granted. I'm going to do... rallying is like... What mood is that? It's probably like hopeful. Okay. All right. So, hey crowd. I know you've been listening to other people all night, and that's probably good because they play better than me. I'm new to this ukulele thing, and I think I'm just going to talk as I strum it. And I'm just going to say to you, don't we all believe in not stealing things from people? Isn't that what we're here for? Not stealing things from people? And then my friends will say yes in the crowd.
Yes, in the crowd.
Yes.
Yeah, she's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, that possum's got a good point.
Well then, why is that kobold in the midst of you stealing? I just gotta ask. Do you see the kobold? Are they taking your purse right now?
Somebody grab him.
Yeah, that kobold over there. All right, so Beautiful, beautiful, Hefty. I love it. So I'm going to give you advantage on this because of your real live ukulele playing here. Advantage gives you an extra D6 in your die pool.
Can I also add real quick, that felt so much like an episode of Dora the Explorer of
Right?
like call and respond. Like, hey kids, can you find the thieving kobold? He's right there.
Thief, thief,
Yeah.
thief, thief. Let's find the thief.
All right, so 1d8 and 3d6.
Sounds
Wait,
right.
They already have one.
Boon.
Swiper, no swiping. What am I saying?
That's perfect.
That's a 6 is the highest on there.
All right.
And then I'm going to roll the d20. I get to reroll ones. Thank goodness.
Did you roll a 1 on your D20?
Not to stick. I got a 4
okay.
permanently, so a 4 plus a 6 is a 10.
Well, a 10 is a qualified success. Way to go. Get that up. Hold on. Yeah, and a 10 to 9. You have narrative control over the outcome, but you also get inspiration if you allow the winner to succeed in their goal. So, do you want the inspiration? Take the inspiration.
If I allow the what to succeed in their goal?
The, sorry, that character threat. Never mind. Hold on. That's me. Never mind. GM escalates or adds another threat. Okay, so the threat will be subdued, right? You no longer need to confront it. But something else is going to go wrong and something is going to be complicated. And here's what I'd like to have happen here for this. Now, if you think that this is a terrible idea, that's okay. And we can retcon it. But what I'd like to have happen here is that the kobold gets away, but Hefty, because you're up there, and people part so that they can, they're like, that kobold, and they all step back so you can get a really good look at him. And you recognize that kobold. You recognize that kobold because that kobold belongs to the Silverlash clan of kobolds, who are a group of kobolds who have day jobs. They're garbage pickers. They're scavengers. They go through the trash and find, valuable things. And presumably sell them. So why they're thieving is a mystery, but that's who that guy is. But he darts through the door before anyone can actually grab him. These guys are slippery. But Hefty, you might actually know where they live, because you're a trash possum. You know the trash.
Where do they live, GM?
You're pretty sure they live in kind of one of the rundown parts of Nikomoy. And you think if you got down there, you could probably find them out pretty easily, either by scent or kind of like you have a sort of a general sense of which of the little tenement houses they all kind of hang out in.
All right. I share that with my friends. I can sniff them out.
All right. So what do you guys do?
Make our way to the tenement houses that Hefty suggested.
We follow the trail.
If we delay, they might run away.
They were running away pretty fast, so it's safe to assume that they are still currently running away. Let's run after them. We're probably faster. We're what, a possum, a jackrabbit, and an old lady?
Walk out of a bar.
All right, so the three of you hit the streets of Nikomoy. It is around sunset, so twilight is coming in. Information for Tracey, that means there's shadows gathering. And, Nikomoy is in that liminal time between the workday and the nightlife, as the city starts to shift from a city of industry and trade into a city where more entertainment happens, more unseemly things happen. The crime that happens in Nikomoy starts kicking up. It's shifting into its night phase, and the three of you head for the tenement houses in that kind of rundown part of Nikomoy that you're familiar with. Hefty, tell us a little bit about this tenement house when you get there, or maybe as you're on your way.
It has planks over the holes where windows used to be, and the vegetation is very tall, and there's a lovely hole under the front porch that I can crawl in.
That sounds really comfy, Hefty. And granted, not that much better than the places I usually end up sleeping.
If you all ever need a warm place to stay, I do have a comfy fire and a couple of beds I can lay down if you're ever hard up again.
Thank you, Freya.
Thank you, Freya. That sounds pretty tempting, honestly. It's been real hard. It's been a rough couple nights for the Cavote.
And then she looks you right in the face and goes, and just know I know exactly how much cash and where all my valuables are.
He snaps his fingers. Damn it.
I don't like violence. It doesn't mean I'm stupid.
All right. So you arrive at this tenement house, which does indeed have a nice little hole in the stairs leading under to the porch. Probably makes a nice little dry place to burrow in. The windows are definitely boarded up, and this is it's kind of a long row style house, probably 16 or so rooms or residences inside, over a couple of floors. Yeah.
So which floor are this cabal of kobolds more likely to be on? The basement floor, closest to the ground? Are kobolds underground type creatures? I don't know. I have not been studying recently.
Can I smell?
Yeah, Freya, your nose confirms this is definitely their hideout.
No, like the floor.
Oh, which floor?
Yeah.
You probably need to be on the floors to figure that out. If you but if you want to spend an inspiration die or inspiration for it, I will let you establish the threat of, I don't know which floor this is, but I'm going to find out, and then try to address it.
I think I have a better solution, which is nobody hates old people. So, Freya, you could just be like finding out for us, and then nobody hates old people. Nobody's gonna like start violence on an old lady knocking on the wrong door. So if it's not the right people, you're our cover.
And you can pretend to be old and confused.
I don't have to pretend that much. But mechanically speaking, did I get the inspiration dice for the threat I created at the Fire Breathing Kittens Guild Hall?
Yeah. When I said I'll give you a threat for that,
I thought I had to succeed on the threat to get the
No. That was, well, yeah. You also, if you roll a 20 or better, you get an inspiration point.
Gotcha.
But
okay.
When I said I will offer you an inspiration if you let me establish the threat.
Gotcha.
Then yeah.
Then I am going to use an inspiration dice to do something else, which is introduce a truth in the fiction at any time. And I would like there to be a young kobold sitting outside wearing Freya's shawl that was stolen.
Okay. Yes. Can I have him be carrying it rather than wearing it?
Sure.
Okay. There is indeed a young kobold who is scurrying towards the house, carrying your shawl. It looks like he may have something wrapped in it. Maybe that's why he's carrying it.
Freya is, as he's walking by, going to use her best grandma voice and say, "Stop right there, young man or woman." Which one is it? Young'un?
Well, it's a kobold. They're a little bit draconic, so it's not like they have a whole lot of external signs. Fair. Yeah.
"Stop right there, young'un. What do you have in your hand right there?"
And the kobold like kind of jumps for a second and looks at you and looks up and down the street, and looks at the house, and then says, "Teapot," and he like unwraps what is apparently a battered tarnished silver teapot.
Where did you get that shawl?
My grandma made it for me.
Freya is going to use her weaving skill and pull up part of it and talk about how this is specifically a halfling pattern that her grandmother taught her and that she taught her grandchild, and that nobody but that was in the line of Bumbleroots would ever possibly know how to do this exact kind of stitch.
It takes twice as much time and uses twice as much fabric and covers half the distance. So only we do it.
Exactly, you get it.
So it's brioche stitch. I get it. Okay. So you start giving this lecture on this. Do you want to establish a threat, spending one of your inspiration, to try to start getting your shawl back?
I don't want the shawl back. I want him to tell me where he was going, or they were going with the shawl. So I want to talk to whoever. I want to talk to your grandmother who gave you the shawl.
Okay.
In fact, I'm not even accusing him of stealing the shawl. I'm accusing his grandmother of intellectual property theft.
Got it. Okay. Cool. So, yeah, by the way, you spent your inspiration, right, for that?
Yes, I have 2 more
to
left.
have him exist, right? Okay.
Yes.
So I think that the kobold is, as you start lecturing about the shawl and everything, the kobold is getting more and more anxious and antsy. Like maybe you're not accusing them of stealing, but maybe they may not have
Guilty
been telling
conscience.
the whole truth about the grandma. Let's put it that way, right? And they say, I'll be sure to tell her, as they start like inching further and further towards the door of the house.
Well, I think me and my friends should follow you to your grandmother and have a stern conversation with your family about stealing stitches.
Oh, Freya, old people don't think, they demand.
Can I, as sort of backup, try to also very subtly inch in towards like the possible escape route?
Yeah, that sounds though like you're gonna start actually starting to maybe intimidate. What do you think?
I think so.
Seems
yeah.
like, yeah. Who wants to create this threat that you're going to overcome with intimidation and grandmaing? We'll call it
Would that be
grandmaing.
coercion?
Yeah. I think this is
whoever has
coercion.
the highest force should
That's
try
Tracey.
to coerce.
That would be me.
Yeah. Okay. So Tracey, you want to spend an inspiration point for us, and we'll put a threat here, which is that guilty conscience kobold is probably about to start running.
Well, I will do just that. You did ask me to roll, right?
Well, I was asked you to spend an inspiration point. We're gonna set up this threat. The guilty conscience kobold, whose name, by the way, is now Torrent. So I'm gonna have to make a wiki page for him. So you are going to be using coerce, right? Which that's to influence his behavior. And Freya, I think, sounds like she's helping you. Does that sound right? Mm-hmm. Because Freya's grandmaing.
Yes.
Right.
Guilt trip grandma.
It sounds like guilt trip grandma may be using honor for that, though. Making
that's probably
a moral
fair.
conviction. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to get Freya's will die, which is a D8.
Yep.
Okay. And Tracey, you get your own D8. And then Tracey, if I'm not mistaken, don't you have things that help you with intimidate? Nope. I'm mistaken on that. Never mind.
Nope.
That's okay. So I think you just have the 2 D8s then.
All right.
All right. And don't forget, because you are also a reskinned halfling, you reroll your any ones on any of your dice.
I got
Are we all halflings and reskinned halflings?
No, you were technically the race of.
You're, yeah.
I'm technically an elf.
Weirdly enough, the only one who's playing a halfling
Yeah.
is mechanically an elf.
That's because when I made your character sheet, I was like, we can't all reroll ones. We have to demonstrate some of these games mechanics.
I actually had no problem with that, but okay. So Tracey, so you've got 2 d8s. Go ahead and roll those, and whichever one is higher, you're going to add to your d20 roll.
2 d8s.
2 d8s.
Okay, I rolled my own dice was a 1.
Okay.
So I can re-roll it.
You re-roll that, yeah.
I didn't think it was going to be better because the other one was 7, but this one's 8. So it's 15 plus 8. It's a higher number than 20.
That's higher than 20. That's right.
23.
That's 23. So, so Tracey, you have full success here. So Torrent is not going to get away with Grandma's shawl, and telling this really obvious lie, right?
Right.
So tell us what happened.
My years of living in like the dirty, soft underbelly of this town and many other towns, just a lot of places, and being in prison an amount of times that I will never publicly disclose, I'm sensing perhaps some falsehoods from this youngin'. And I get up real up in that kobold's face and I go, "Is that so? Well, I smell a lie. Do you even have a grandmother?"
Yeah, I have 7 grandmothers. I gotta go. And he like shoves the whole bundle at you, and like takes a step back. But because you've been kind of, lurking and looming over him, and the 3 of you kind of have him surrounded, he trips. And he starts like just kind of like flailing and letting out a little high pitched squeal of terror. What do you do?
Suffering.
At that point, Freya's grandma kicks in. And she's going to catch him before he hits the ground and say, "I'm sorry. What did you say your name was again?"
And he's still like even when you pick him up, he's like flailing. Like, you ever see a little kid that just does not want to go where they're being taken, and they just twist every possible way.
Yeah,
I like to think of a cat when you try to pick it up and it does not want to be picked up.
Yeah, a little bit like that.
I would like to use an inspiration dice to create a threat.
Yeah.
That he will run away, and I want to generate goodwill or establish trust with him. I want to use ally.
All right, let's try it. So this is a situation where, through no fault of Freya's own, you have disadvantage. And the reason you have disadvantage is this poor little guy is panicked and has things going on that y'all don't even know about that are causing him a lot of stress over this situation. Okay?
That means I re-roll both dice twice and take the lower, or just the d20 and take the lowest?
The d20s. You'll re-roll. You'll roll 2 d20 and take the lower of those. Their dice pool stays the same.
And perhaps I am not helping all too much standing behind Freya, putting my thumb across my neck like this.
Right. Yeah.
Right,
Tracey is no help. So you're going to use ally here, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I got
and
an
that's
8.
okay.
I got an 8 on my 8-sided die, and then on my 20s, I got a 10 and a 7.
Well,
so
that's still a
15?
Qualified success, right? Yep. Mm-hmm. It's a qualified success. So I think what's going to happen here, you are going to calm him enough that he's not flailing, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. However, he's going to lash out, and he's obviously in so much distress, that you trying to calm him is it's almost, I mean, it's like emotional violence. It's manipulative. And I'm going to say you take harm to your will.
Okay.
For those playing along at home, in Dungeoncaster, we don't have hit points. Instead, our characters take harm to their ability dice. It doesn't affect their ability to roll those dice, but once they take 3 harm, they take a condition that can further impact them.
But he has stopped flailing and trying to run away, correct?
Yes, you have the qualified success there. You take some harm here. He's not trying to run away. He sobs out his name, which is Torrent, and he begs you, please just let me go. Let me go. It's super important. I have to go.
Okay, Torrent. Why don't we just walk you home and make sure you're okay? I feel terrible. I didn't mean to scare you. I just saw my Shaw and I reacted. Could I just walk you home, please?
And his eyes dart again to the tenement house, which is like right there, right?
Right. But I want to know
says,
exactly where he's going.
Okay. And he says, I'm already home. I could just go inside. Really no problem. I don't need help.
Oh, you would like that, wouldn't you?
Yes, I would. I just said that.
We're kind of doing the carrot and stick approach here.
Wait, how tall is the kobold?
The kobold towers over you at a whopping 2.5 feet tall.
2.5 feet.
I know.
I'm 3 feet too.
Oh, you're 3 feet? Okay, sorry.
I am taller than this child. This
You are
child
taller
has
than-
good
He's a
reason to
child.
be terrified of me.
Yeah.
I thought it was intimidating enough to someone who is twice my size. This child should be in absolute fear.
As has been established, Torrent is terrified.
Good.
So,
I guess next step here is to go inside, take a look around, and if things go wrong, I have a plan B.
So you're going into the tenement house?
Yes, we are.
All right.
I am.
Are we letting Torrent go?
In a manner of speaking, I would like to walk him to his door in my guise of concerned grandmother.
Okay. So you open the door of the tenement house, and what greets you is a long, dingy hallway with several open doorways. And the kobold child says, "Thanks, gotta go," and grabs hold of that shawl and yanks it to take off. Do you want to fight him for it?
Who was holding on to that again? Was I holding on to that?
I think Freya was. I think they were having a little bit of a tug of war.
Seeing as force is my lowest dice and Freya is an old woman, I'm just going to let him take it and trust in my companions to handle anything physical.
Okay.
Can I trip him?
Hold on. If you wanted to hold on to it and risk tearing it, I'd allow that. But if you're like, no, I don't want to risk tearing my shawl, that's cool. Totally get it.
I don't want to risk tearing my shawl, and honestly, I don't want to scare this kobold anymore. I feel like Freya's starting to feel a little guilty for...
A little guilty. Little feelings.
Well, she sees a young boy in a clearly run-down tenement house that he stole. Her grandma's kicking in that he is a victim of circumstance and not necessarily. He's not the one who stole her shawl. He was given it, and so she feels bad. And if he really needs a shawl, she can always ask her grandkids to make her another one.
Great. Later on, Freya's going to realize that he was lying about the grandma giving him the shawl 100%. But right now, the guilt's working. It's great. Love it. Tracey, you wanted to trip him?
I will attempt to. I've got long rabbit feet.
You do have long rabbit feet. So, although, kobolds are notoriously spry. And this is his home turf. I'm gonna say disadvantage on this one too. Do you want to spend the inspiration to create that as a threat?
Yes.
Okay, spend the inspiration. We'll make it a 1-point threat, 1 stage threat. And tripping him, yeah, that's like coerce, right? You're influencing their behavior, i.e. tripping them. So it's force. And
would it, I mean, it doesn't matter either way to me, but could it also be considered a strike? Like, this is some form of combat?
Are you trying to harm him?
I guess not directly, so
yeah.
No, fair enough.
So no. So it's force, do you feel like any of your talents or anything apply here?
Maybe brawling?
Do you want to spend that die for it?
No.
Okay.
Is brawl a talent or a discipline?
It's a discipline.
It's a discipline, yeah.
Oh my.
And I think, Tracey, I don't think you had assigned your dice before we started for your disciplines, unless I missed that in our pre-game conversations. So can you tell me and the rest of the audience, what dice did you have for each of those disciplines? The disciplines that Tracey has as a rogue are banditry, the attempt to intimidate. That's where I got the intimidation. Brawling, attempt to fight without training or standard weapons, and stealth, the attempt to confront a threat without being detected.
So I just sort of went in that order, 1, 2, 3, essentially, and I have a D4 for banditry, a D6 for brawling, and a D8 for stealth.
Sounds great. Thanks for clarifying that. Did you want to use one of those for this? I would let you use brawling for it, since this is an untrained, non-weaponed kind of move.
I'm gonna use brawling. I feel like it applies in this situation. I will not find another one.
All right, so spend that D6, and that gives you a D6 into your pool. So I think that means you have a D6 and a D8. Do you want to? I don't think anything else really applies here. So go for it. Love this. We're beating up on the little kobold kid. It's awesome.
I got a 5 on my D6, and I rolled a 16, so that is 21.
21. Okay. Full success. You trip the poor kid in the hallway, right? Like as they're basically going over the threshold, and they go sprawling. The teapot goes rolling. The grandma's shawl kind of flails out and everything, and they let out a pitiful little squeak as they hit the ground. They're going to feel that one tomorrow.
I would also like to add that as Tracey does it, he lets out a really loud comical, oops, my bad.
That 21 is above 20, so you get an inspiration.
Yep, you do. You get your inspiration back. And also the hallway is instantly plunged into darkness as what little lights had been lit in the house are suddenly put out. Now, I know that pretty much everyone here probably can see in the dark, but it is still dark. So what do y'all do?
It's dark.
It's dark. And we're now in this tenement house that you realize all of the doors I mentioned were open. There just aren't doors on them. Clearly, this kobold clan has taken over this tenement house.
You mean this cabal of kobolds?
Cabal of kobolds. Yes.
Mm.
Can we just call them the Cabal?
If they were blue, if they were kobolds, it'd be a cabal of kobolds.
Some of them are blue now. I don't know what to tell you. That just happened. I'm not even going to make you pay inspiration to make that true. It's just too good not to be. But we now have what is called the Maze of Hallways and Rooms in Darkness threat. It has 2 boxes on it, so there's 2 stages for this threat. And I will warn you that as things escalate, other threats will emerge in the darkness.
And there are no windows nearby.
All the windows were boarded up, as you may recall.
I punch one of the boarded up windows. while
Okay, so
yelling Plan B at full volume.
So you'll have to either go back outside to get to a window or go further in and into a room. Because I want you to imagine like a narrow hallway in an apartment building. And there's all these like open doorways, but also it's completely dark.
I would like to use my heightened awareness, which is I get 1 talent dice whenever I carefully use my senses before confronting a threat. That I'm going to stop and listen for the sounds of people moving that aren't my friends here.
Okay. So you stop for a moment and you like listen carefully, and you hear upstairs, you hear footsteps, footfalls. Further in on this floor, you hear like the sound of what sounds like maybe rope or something sliding on something else, and like the creak of maybe a pulley.
I think they might be setting up traps for us.
Is the kid still here?
Yes, the kid is still here because Tracey rolled really well on that, so he did not get away. He's laying on the ground, probably moaning, crying.
In pain.
In a lot of pain.
This seems like a good time to ask a question and get an honest answer. Is it okay if I ask a question?
Yeah, you can ask a question. Is this a discipline?
No, I just am using my character voice and I'm going to say a thing to them.
Oh, okay. Well, you said an honest answer, so I'm
just setting the scene that they happen to be in pain laying on the ground. So as far as like moods go.
How long ago did you stop scavenging trash, Torrent?
Okay. This is not working towards overcoming the current threat, right?
No, I notice situation, take advantage of situation. Just communicating, just honest, open, speak between characters in world.
Yeah, okay. And Torrent says, I don't do that kind of work. I don't work. I'm just a kid.
How long ago did the adults stop collecting trash, Torrent?
They still do collect trash.
Have you always done this other stuff too?
He pauses for a second and says, I don't know what you're talking about. I gotta go home.
All right, I tried. Just thought I'd ask about timeline. It would be a nice clue.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Torrent is scared of something bigger than the three of you, right?
What could possibly be bigger than Tracey Cavorte?
Right. and Hefty and Freya. But as you do kind of try to get some information, when you refer to the thievery, that apparently makes Torrent really uncomfortable, and that is apparently what he's afraid of.
That's why I didn't directly ask, hey, who's making you all steal stuff for them?
Yeah.
It's just getting a timeline. It's okay.
Yep.
Doesn't have to work.
Do you want to establish a threat to force it to work?
No, this is a kid laying on the floor injured. I'm good. I am not going to do anything to this kid.
Okay. When the gods weigh everybody's souls, we know where Tracey's going to come up.
Hey, Tracey Cavorte always slips out to a better path. I will never face the consequences of any of my actions, and you can bet on it.
Yeah, he's never been in jail.
Right.
Not publicly.
All right. So, what do y'all do?
How visible is, for a nocturnal animal who doesn't have anything on her character sheet about seeing in the dark, how visible are things in this hallway?
I'm going to say that for you, because again, nocturnal and good sense of smell and things like that, you probably have, out of all three characters, the best ability to navigate. largely because you're navigating in part by smell, and you do have what we would call low light vision for sure, but it's creepily dark, right? And those boards on the windows now make a lot of sense.
So like magically dark?
Not quite magically dark, just like really, really effectively dark.
Can Freya use her elemental discipline to create a small fireball in her hand?
Of course.
I would like to do that.
You are going to spend that point to do that? Spend that die?
Yes. At least we
All
have
right.
no inspiration die currently.
Well, I mean, to spend the fire, to use the element, you'll spend your discipline point or
Yes.
discipline die. Yeah. Okay. You create a small fire, which becomes a torch, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yes, now the hallway is illuminated by a single torch, and you see that as soon as the light goes on, a number of kobolds who had been setting up little ambushes and things see you, spook, and start dashing either further into the rooms or down the hallway and further into the tenement building.
And I immediately turn to Freya and go, "That is a great idea. We set fire to the building. That'll smoke them all out."
Oh, fire-breathing kittens.
Well, tell you what, we'll call that one Plan C.
Okay.
For charred remains.
You know what? As long as I get to try Plan B first.
Does me creating fire resolve one of the threat dice, since now we can see what we're going into?
Absolutely. Yes. I will give that. I won't even make you roll for that one. Yeah.
And just so I'm clear, I can use each one of my discipline dice once per game or once per scene?
It's once per session, essentially. I mean, because you would need to rest for a day to get them
Gotcha.
back. And this is not, you're not going to have time to rest. So, yeah.
So I've got one big arcane spell left, guys.
I think so, yeah. Yep. Because we're low level,
Mm-hmm.
And actually, don't spend that inspiration that I had you spend to create the fire there, because you're applying this to the maze. I didn't realize that that's what you were doing, because you're applying this to the maze of hallways and rooms in darkness. You don't need to spend that inspiration. You're applying it to an existing threat, so that's fine.
Do I need to roll for my elemental spell then to see?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. Let's do it. Yeah.
So that's
it's you got a
20,
D4 on that.
Yeah, and
you've
then
got
a 20-sided total
right,
of
and
19. Oh, did I get more dice?
Well, I think wouldn't you normally have your just your ability die?
Oh yeah, then 1d6. So let's see if it gets. I mean, it's gonna be higher than the 1. So 24. So I get another inspiration dice.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you absolutely clear that that point of the maze of hallways. The darkness is no longer there. It's still a maze of hallways, and knowing like where we'll call it the mastermind of this thievery is really that's kind of the further part of that threat. What do you do?
I'm trying to think of a mastermind synonym that sounds like kobold.
Hefty, since you know this kobold clan, or know of them, do you want to try to suss out a little bit about who they might have in their structure?
I tried asking the kid questions, and they're like just, too scared to answer. So that is kind of the extent of my relationship with them.
Okay.
All
right.
I could ask the walls. I could go in an empty room. I could go in one of these open doors and ask the people who are going to ambush me. But I don't really want to ask the ambushers questions.
That's fair. That's fair.
If it were up to me, what I'd do right now is I would back into a corner in the dark because I'm a ranged attacker. So for me, I would like back away from the fireball that Freya lit, and back myself up into a dark corner. Like, I know that there's open doors that I would have to walk past to get there, so I would minimize the number of open doors. Or honestly, just back up against a wall at the edge of Freya's light range.
Okay.
And then hold my ukulele.
My understanding is that you all are still pretty much in the first part of the hallway. I don't think anybody has gone further down the hall past any doorways yet, right?
No.
So Hefty, it sounds like maybe you're just backing up like in the corner next to the front door.
Yep. And in this system specifically, I get an extra D6 the longer distance I go. So I'm keeping my eyes out for someone to enter the hallway. That's what I was looking for earlier. And I was going to hit him with a ukulele twang, knock him down.
Maybe perhaps, since there are shadows everywhere, I could scout. I could either go by myself or we go in some sort of formation, like RPG style, where I'm at the front, like sussing out traps and whatnot and trying to locate some sort of focal point of activity, as we say in the business.
I think that's a grand idea. Let's put you in the front, me in the middle, and then the possum in the back so she can sing a song to anybody that gets in our way.
I'll stay at the front door until you guys clear the floor.
Oh, you meant really long distance.
Straight up, I get extra dice the further I go. It says advantage, add 1d6 to longer distance.
As long as you can see us.
Yeah, so there is one problem with that, which is that the hallway actually makes a jog about 20 or 30 feet down. So you'll lose sight of them after like the first couple of sets of doors.
Clear the first couple sets of doors, and then I'll come up to you.
Sounds good.
Anyone you want me to hit, put them in the hallway.
All right, fair enough. Let's
Okay.
move on.
All right, so Tracey, you are in front, and as you come up on that first set of doors, and do you check them out? Do you peer in? You don't really have a lot of light, so there's not a lot to work with. But
First and foremost, if there's any sort of keyhole missing mechanisms, like edges of the door where there could possibly be anywhere that I could peek in, I will peek in there first.
oh, the doorways are completely open. The doors have been removed.
Oh, well, that's quite a big peek hole then.
Yeah, it is. It is. It really is. Makes it a lot easier to both see you and also for them to, lay their ambush.
All right. I guess I will slip into the first door I get to. Try to outflank the outflankers.
Outflank the outflankers. So this is going to be your scout move, right?
Yes.
All right. And I think you get a D6 for doing something in the shadows.
Right.
Correct? That's your talent. Scout is force. So that's your D8. Anything else that is going to help you here?
Probably not.
You could use your stealth if you wanted to use that discipline.
You know what? I'm going to go for it. You only live once.
You only live at least once. All right. So that's going to give you, looks like another D8 on your pool.
Alrighty then.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Roll it. Let us know. Reroll your ones. Don't forget that.
Okay, I got it now. I have rolled extremely poorly.
Excellent.
But not poorly enough. I've rolled a 10 and 3 threes.
Okay. So a 13?
13.
Okay, so this is going to be your qualified success then, right?
Oh, that's just enough. I totally forgot. I was just looking at all those low numbers.
Right, but with the 10, you're basically adding one of those threes. It's a 13. So on a 13, that's a mixed success. So something else goes wrong, or the situation gets complicated. And I think what's going to go wrong here, and this is going to happen very fast. So we're gonna speed up some action here. And as you're going around the corner and everything, there is a new threat that goes off, and the threat is a trap with exploding paint. The threat has 2. We don't have a whole lot of time before you're going to be splattered in paint. Will be the consequence here. So what would you do to avoid getting splattered with paint from this?
Well, I imagine my first instinct would be to dive behind cover.
Diving behind cover. Okay.
Into one of the rooms.
Well,
it's a hallway, right?
He was ducking into a room to begin with, and that's where the trap went off. So,
right? Back into the hallway, or behind some furniture in a room, or what's your cover?
Is there anything else in the room?
Yes, there's plenty of things in the room. There's you see you don't have a lot of light, but you have enough. You see that there's like a bed. There's a very, very dilapidated dresser, and there appears to be at the far end of the room an open stairway, like a door where there would normally be a door that's also been taken off, and a stairway going down. But you're gonna dive behind some cover. I feel like that's defend, which is a will roll.
Oh no.
So, do you have any talents or anything that may help you here? What do you think?
Does me having light help him at all?
In what way?
He can see.
Sure, that means he doesn't have a disadvantage.
Can I add a defend to him with my light that defend yourself or another, that he could see it fall because or he could see it before it exploded because I had the light there for him, and add a help dice?
Again, I already said that your light is giving him no disadvantage.
So no double dipping.
What else could you do that could help here?
I'm far enough behind that it's not going to hit me. So I don't know. Okay. I don't know what I can actually do other than use my last arcane, which I'm not going to do to prevent a paint trap from going off. We might just have a yellow bunny or whatever color this paint is.
Well, this paint has got to be cobalt. So,
yeah. So a blue bunny.
Okay, so Tracey, it sounds like you're gonna have to roll that defend.
All right, just gonna go for it, I guess.
Go for it.
All 3s,
including the D20. Nice. Yep. Okay. Well, first of all, those dice belong in the microwave, and second of all, so on a failure, you get an XP on that die, by the way. You will take harm to your will. So you take a point of harm to your will. The the threat escalates. It blows up in your face. And now,
wonderful.
Yeah, and now it's a matter of tried to dive, didn't get there.
In the process of diving, I actually bonked my head against the nearest object.
I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, it's like, it doesn't hurt necessarily, but it undermines your confidence a lot, right? And I, you know what? I'm gonna resolve this because it's explosive. You are covered in blue paint. You will have disadvantage on charisma rolls until you can clean up.
I really hope this is not lead-based. Otherwise, if it is, we are dealing with an extremely villainous cabal of kobolds.
Right? It's terrible. All right, but what you do see is that staircase going down, and you're pretty sure that there were kobolds in this room before, and they went down that staircase.
So we have a path to follow.
You have a path to follow. You have resolved the maze of hallways and rooms all in darkness.
All right, I turn back to the others and I say, I've got good news and bad news. All right, good news.
This completely blue bunny steps out.
Good news is, I have an idea of where some of the kobolds might have gone. Bad news, I will probably not be going anywhere without a trace tonight.
Well, good thing your name is Tracey.
Hey, badumch.
All right. So, do you want to head downstairs?
Shall we?
Great. This is a good point for a break. So, you are listening to Fire Breathing Kittens with Hefty, Freya,
Well, I guess we'll have to figure out what happens next.
and Tracey.
I really hope that this does not stay permanent in any way, shape, or form. Or somebody will die today.
Well, you've already been died.
With the zingers tonight. Come on, let me be funny just once.
If you do like our show so far, please do like and review us on iTunes. It really does help out a lot. Bye.
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 Today's mid-episode shout-out is, quote, "Thanks to my 4th period lit professor, Mei Ling. You expanded my horizons. Your impact is everlasting." End quote. You can arrange for us to read your shout-out at firebreathingkittenspodcast.com. Did you know? We have paperback, ebook, hardcover, and audiobook adaptations of our adventures on Amazon and Audible. Is there an episode of Fire Breathing Kittens that would make someone you know smile? Well, telling them about it would help us. Thanks.
Welcome back to the Fire Breathing Kittens. We are here with Hefty, Freya,
Hello.
and Tracey.
The one and only Tracey Cavorte, not having the best day at the moment.
He's a
We
little
are
blue
playing-
right now.
Okay.
And when we last left our heroes, they had Tracey had just gotten blue, and discovered that there was a staircase leading down from the tenement room down further into this building, where surely they will discover the mastermind of this thieving kobold ring.
Or their family storage.
Or the Cabal of kobolds. As some people might
Indeed.
say.
Indeed. So you are in that room. What do you do?
Well,
Wait, which
Tracy's the only
room?
one in the room.
Fair.
The room with the stairs going downward, or have I already...
No, you're in the room with the stairs going downward. You have not started down the stairs yet.
Okay, well, if I haven't already, I make sure that the other two know about the downward stairs. Have I done that already?
Do it.
Okay.
Go tell them.
There appears to be, in fact, a path to follow for these two kobolds. And we're gonna pursue that. And also just we're never making any more jokes about what color I am for the rest of the night. We just have to have a blood pact on that.
Well, you really blew it, I think.
Okay. Thin ice.
I can't see color.
Did did the kobold we were, I guess the best word, harassing earlier, did he run in here or did he run up the stairs?
Torrent ran further into the tenement down the hall. But you definitely know that there were a couple of kobolds in this room, because when you lit the little fireball, you saw them like duck into the room and disappear.
Assuming that all of the traps are now sprung,
Big assumption.
well, I will go in as far as Tracey is and follow his blue footprints, and look around the room as best I can for hidden doors and passageways, because this is a maze, and I can't believe the first room we go into is the right room.
So just a reminder, before the break, I mentioned that the maze-like maziness, I guess, of this tenement building, that threat was resolved. You have a clear path.
Oh.
Narratively speaking. However, checking out this room is not such a bad idea.
Then I will still check out this room.
Okay.
I guess I will also hang around the room. Continue to leave my little Tracey clues everywhere.
Yeah. There's so many blue footprints. So many blue footprints. And they,
Traces
they're
of yourself.
rabbit. Yeah, they're rabbit footprints, right?
Okay, that one was funny. I'll let that one pass.
Sorry, I love puns.
It's great. I love it too. So that sounds to me, Freya, like scouting.
That is my worst skill.
I love it. Let's do it.
So a 20 and a 4-sided die.
Yeah. Do any of your...
How does a 3 tickle your fancy?
Is that your total?
That's my total. A 1 on the 4-side and a 2 on the 20.
And you're not actually a halfling to be able to re-roll that. So
No.
Cool. All right.
Now, wait,
well,
I did use my senses. Well, I don't think an 8 would help either, even if I got a 6 on the 6-sided die.
I don't think even if you got a 6, well, that'd be a 9, but it would still not bump you up to a 10. So
And it doesn't matter. I hit another 1. All of a sudden, my luck is gone.
Hey,
okay.
I'm just going to
Cool.
throw stuff out into the ether here, but it would make sense if there were, in fact, more than one exploding paint trap in this room, perhaps.
Well,
But I've got something better than that. I think it's better. I don't know. We'll find out. So, Freya, you are kind of looking around the room, checking things out, and you're going to take harm to your force die, right? So go ahead and mark harm there. And while you're checking things out, like you step around the bed to like see if there's anything underneath it, and before you know it, you hear it right before you feel it, just enough notice for you to know what is happening as it happens to you, as your feet are a loop of rope wraps around your feet and you are pulled through a pulley system up into the air, upside down, as a rope trap basically captures you, and you are hanging upside down, basically in the middle of this room.
Oh, hey. Perhaps this is, maybe sly of me to say, but maybe you should turn that frown upside down, Freya.
Wow.
Turn around is fair play.
well, come on. Don't leave me hanging.
So you have a upside down trap threat of 1 here to get Freya out of it. Freya, you are at disadvantage on everything until you are free.
All right, and I guess I'll try to release the trap wherever it's attached to or wherever the rope is coming from.
Okay, you want to cut the rope down?
Now, normally I would say, don't
cut
let
it
me
with.
down. So normally I'd say, don't let me down.
Tracey, you don't have a knife?
I understand why you would assume that I would have one, but
I'm assuming it based on your character sheet that says you have 6 throwing daggers and a dagger for stabbing.
oh, that's right. That is actually a correct thing that you've just said to me.
If I'm wrong, that's fine, but just checking.
I completely forgot that I started with a litany of objects to take advantage of.
So Real quick, does Hefty know any of this has gone on since we're in the room, or is Hefty still just hiding in her corner?
That's a really good question.
You did say that Tracey communicated that there's like a basement thing. So when Tracey said that...
Tracey went to the door and told you that's the next place.
Yeah. So like I am coming forward, but I am only a foot long. So foot tall, 15 inches long, not counting the tail. I probably make it like right about now to the door.
I kind of figure Freya took a few minutes to search, but if you're like at the doorway, that works for me. I think that makes a lot of sense for you.
I think it's funny to walk into a room and see a halfling fall from the sky.
It is. Yeah.
Oh yeah, to see both Freya's situation and mine directly at the same time. Like this is the first time Hefty has seen both of us.
Yep.
Hey there, Hefty. If you want to look around the room, I have to warn you, there appear to be traps.
Once Freya's available to help me when I get stuck, I'll give a look around the room too.
Oh yeah, because you crashed to the floor as I walked in. So yeah, no.
Now that you're available, Freya, sure.
Oh, I'm sorry. Freya is still dangling until Tracey rolls with that dagger there.
Well, I guess I will take out my dagger and cut the rope.
All right.
And I will make sure to just say, all right, just make sure to bend your knees as you fall.
So we're going to use
upside down.
Okay, here we go.
Here we go. So,
wait, put the bed over top of me or underneath me.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Put the bed underneath me. I'm old.
So I'm gonna offer you two choices here, and one is that you're using force. You're influencing her behavior, but I'm gonna offer you another option here, which is ally, to generate goodwill and establish trust with Freya. Mostly because I think it would be hilarious if you failed on this and she falls on her head.
Hey, that does sound hilarious. All right, I'll go for it.
Okay, now you are using armor or weapon in this, so you get a D6 on this roll for having the actual dagger to work with, right?
Gotcha.
Okay. I don't think your shadows is going to help you, and I wouldn't recommend spending discipline dice on it. Although, if you really want to, I guess you could.
Nah.
Okay.
Okay. So I did in fact roll a 5 and a 2.
Okay. And then what was your D20?
5.
Oh, okay. Because you rolled you roll on your D4, D6. What your highest was a 2?
Yeah, I rolled a 5, a 2, and a 1.
Oh, okay.
You get to re-roll that 1.
You get to re-roll that 1.
Oh, that's right.
We might get an 11 if you hit a 6 or a 5.
I rolled another 1.
Oh, re-roll it.
I rolled another 1.
Keep rolling until you don't hit a 1.
Re-roll any dice that rolls a 1 is the halfling skill.
I rolled another 1.
This has got to be on that D4, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why. Because D4, it's only got four possible outcomes.
I rolled another 1.
Are you stuck in a loop?
Well, even with a 4 on his D4, the highest he can get is a 9, which is still a failure, right?
Yeah, that's true.
I rolled another 1.
It doesn't matter.
What is happening? Okay. Is this a physical dice?
I rolled a 2.
Oh,
there we go.
Okay, was that digital or physical?
That was digital.
Yeah.
Name and shame.
It's the Google dice roll.
Okay, Google dice
that
roller.
one usually hits really high for me. I don't use that one when I'm DMing.
I don't care if that's a D4. How many 1s did I just roll in a row there? I think it was like 6.
A lot.
It was
Too many.
It was
statistically improbable number.
It was statistically improbable, but still very possible. So,
Well, the lucky feat
all right.
has done nothing but extend this.
Obviously, Freya is going to fall on her head. But even better than that is Freya has been holding on to a little ball of fire in case you all forgot. And when she falls on her head, the ball of fire flies out of her hand and hits you, Tracey. Causing you some fire damage, and that is the harm that you take from your character, to your will die. And it bounces and hits the the dresser, which has on it this like very tattered thin piece of cloth that catches on fire.
Okay, I was kidding about Plan C. We're not actually going to burn their house down.
We have a new threat. The house is on fire.
If you think I planned any of that, you clearly think even higher of me than I do.
Freya, you also take harm as you land on your head and miss the bed.
This is like the Community episode where someone goes out for pizza and comes back, and they walk back in the room, and when they left, everything was normal. And when they walk back in, it's on fire.
Yes.
Yeah, you see a blue rabbit, an old woman who just bumped her head that was hanging from the ceiling, and now an on-fire dresser.
I'm standing there with the pizza box in my hands, metaphorically.
It's shaped like a ukulele, but we know it's got pizza in it somewhere.
Or she's a possum, and she puts pieces of pizza in the ukulele, and that's actually a pizza box for her.
Metaphorically.
Save it for later. So,
does
did
anybody
the
have...
fireball also hit me? Did you say that earlier?
Oh, and what do I take damage to? Which harm?
It feels like force, doesn't it?
Oh, it hit my face. Could that be charisma? Because then I'd have one in each.
No, I'm going with force.
You're beating up an old woman. I hope you're happy.
Yeah.
There has been a lot of pain inflicted today, but it is not as funny when it's inflicted on me.
So the house is on fire.
Does anyone have
reminding
any
you.
skill or something that they could use to put this out?
No.
Anyone wearing a cloak?
I'm a bard.
Can she sing it to sleep?
I can sneak up on the fire.
Wait, did the DM just say, can she sing it to sleep?
Yes.
All right, so I've learned one song on the ukulele. Can I play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star to make the fire go out?
I'm a big proponent of yes and, but I'm going to say no and.
Hey,
All right,
in this situation, Freya would in fact be the twinkling little star.
It's a shining fire. No, I was going to put an enemy to sleep, but hey, I'll do that later.
Yeah, use that for on an enemy that you can actually see. Freya.
Yes.
So this is where your GM's knowledge of knitting is going to come in handy for you. Did you know that wool is actually really good at putting out fires?
Yes, I did know that because Freya knits a lot. So Freya's going to whip off the shawl she's wearing and try to put the fire out with her 100% wool shawl.
That sounds about right. Okay, so...
She doesn't use that cheap acrylic stuff. That melts.
It does. It totally does. This feels like defend. You're defending the party and the house from, being on fire. So
Right, you are defending the house from transforming into a pile of ashes.
I don't think your mage path talent is going to be effective here because this is not illusion magic.
But my seamstress ability will.
But I definitely think your crafting talent will. So you get a D6
Yes.
for that, and you get your will die.
A total of 19.
Okay. So again, we're looking at a success with some consequence, right? Mixed success. So you start putting your shawl on it to kind of smother the fire. And I'm gonna say that in the course of putting the fire out, though, you are going to take harm.
Do I force again?
No, this is to will, because this was a will roll that the consequence is for. The fire is out, but also your fireball is also out. So we're back into darkness.
So I get a harm and my fireball is out? That seems like a lot of bad for a mixed success.
You put the fire out, didn't you?
But on a 19, I get 2 bad things?
The GM will either escalate another threat by marking an upward arrow or introduce a new threat. It is possible also that the character will take harm.
Sounds like some feedback for Dungeoncaster.
You put the fire out, the house will not burn down.
Well, Freya's done doing anything for tonight.
I am not in a better state.
Have you taken
She
3 harm
walks
to
out
your
with
will?
Hefty and brings out a couple of knitting needles and just starts going to work. Got to replace that shawl.
Are you out? You're not out of
No,
of
but
will,
I have.
right?
If I get hurt in will or force, I will have 3 in either of them. So
Okay.
Freya's done.
That doesn't. I mean, that doesn't mean you're out of the game. It just gives you a consequence.
Yes, so just to talk about mechanics for a second. 3 will... Do you see the black box on your character sheet? And it says like a word there. It says angry, afraid, and shamed. 3 will harm will make you angry. 3 force harm will make you afraid. And 3 charisma harm will make you shamed. You can take afraid or angry or shamed when you take all 3 your characters out of action, like for example dead or like out of the adventure. But like you can get angry. It's okay to be angry. And then you can also force recovery. If you look at your super favorite cheat sheet in the bottom right, it says negate 1 harm by, you can do those things to role play a way to negate a harm. For will, that's lashing out emotionally at another character in a way that causes trouble in the relationship. For force, that's pulling a hefty and just like hiding, demonstrating weakness and fear, no longer being able to confront the relevant threat. For charisma, that's insulting your friends, being arrogant, demanding, insolent, creating or escalating a threat.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're not dead. Don't worry. I mean, like, you could be if you keep going. I don't know what you're up to. Like, I have no harm. So.
Then can I lash out at Tracey for being so stupid and cutting me down without putting anything underneath me?
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Listen here, you little lucky rabbit. I won't cut your foot off because I'm a pacifist, but I'm very upset with you. You cut me down. I bumped my head. You're stupid and you blew it.
Well, that would definitely be just water sliding off coming from anyone else, but from you, Freya, that is deeply cutting.
And in a way that causes trouble in the relationships, he's going to say, and you're not welcome in a bed in my house.
Oh, snap. Wow. The invitation is rescinded.
Wow.
Oh, Tracey.
So can I take 1 off of Will?
You can take 1 off of Will. That was a perfect example of lashing out and in a way that will cause trouble in the relationship. Love to see it. Tracey, how do you feel about that?
Well, I'm feeling a little bit like I missed my chance to have a good night's rest, but mostly I'm just like, okay, these are one of those situations where I feel like I have taken consequences for my actions, which is probably one of my least favorite things.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm not feeling too good about that.
right.
Tracey Cavorte does not like facing the consequences of their actions. That is the Cavorte family motto.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you were just boasting about that even, right?
Like mere minutes ago, back in a time when I was not blue.
Okay, so but you take a beat, you have this moment. Freya, you kind of shrug off a little bit of that will damage. You feel, you know how it is. It feels good to get things off your chest once in a while. Right. And Hefty, you're near the door, correct? Still, right?
Yep.
You've got
Just
the
walked in.
longest possible shot, which is, other side of this very small room, to the doorway with the stairs leading down. What will you do next?
Well, I'm gonna make sure that I am completely clean of any embers and not singed at all. Gonna throw off some of, if any, remaining wet paint, as well as the doubt cast upon my heart, as I take some steps forward into the next room, feeling just a little bit different.
Okay. Again, the room has been plunged back into darkness, but as your eyes adjust, and Hefty, for you, your eyes adjusted very quickly, you see that there is very dim light coming from downstairs.
They have a party down there. A really quiet one.
I'm going to join you because, wait, no, I was going to search the room. That's right.
Oh, yeah. Let's have you search the room while all of this is happening. And they're fighting and everything. You got time.
Okay.
Hefty's just having their own mini adventure while we're having it out in the background.
It seems like the only way to search a room in Dungeoncaster is to use force. It says find something hidden, scout, move, use force.
Yep. Scouting is the kind of searching sort of ability.
Yeah, and it seems like the only bonuses I have are to my ukulele and to creating music, knowing about entertaining music, using my ukulele at long distance. So I wish I was a bat where I could echolocate, because unless I can't use that ukulele to find stuff. I'm not gonna I'm going to catastrophically fail with just a force of D4. So maybe I don't want to search the room. Maybe that's not my role in this game. Maybe I just follow.
Now, question. Would both of us having searched the room and set off traps count as helping her search the room?
I don't know. But I do know that there isn't a current threat in the room right now. So
until I roll a 2.
Well, no,
I generate one.
because you would need to either spend one of your inspiration to create the threat of I'm searching the room, so you could roll, or I will give you an inspiration and I'll set up a threat of what you're searching for, which would probably be finding another trap, by the way, to be perfectly transparent. But if you decide that you don't want to set up those threats or anything, but you're just going to do narratively, I'm searching, but I ain't finding nothing because you don't want to take that risk. That's okay with me.
I would not like to take a risk on a D4 with no added dice.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just sniff, sniff, follow. So my nose is lifted in the air and I'm sniffing and I smell fire. Huh? Who'd have thought?
Yeah,
and I follow
who'da thought?
follow behind my friends as I go down the stairs, and it's well lit down there without a fire. Or is it?
Well, it is dimly. We just see that there's dim light coming from down there. And do you actually want to follow them down the stairs, or do you want to stay at the top of the stairs until you can see stuff? Because I know you're the archer. You like the long range.
I am going to be physically at the bottom of the stairs, but behind my friends, and I am 1 foot tall and 15 inches long. So that's pretty good cover, but also a good vantage point.
Sounds good. Okay. So is everybody's going down the stairs then? Yes?
Yes.
Freya? Tracey?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So the three of you head down the stairs, and as you reach the bottom of the stairs, you do see first of all, it's a fairly large room, and there is light further into the room. But you can't really see a whole lot because immediately as you hit the bottom of the stairs, Tracey, kind of with Freya still partway up the stairs and Hefty a little bit up above her. So Freya and Hefty, you are present, able to react and interact, but not in like melee range, shall we call it. Tracey, when you get to the bottom of the stairs, you are ambushed by a couple of kobolds. This is a small ambush. It has 3 threat boxes. What are you going to do? And I'm asking Tracey first because you are in the front.
I'm in the front.
I also have a thing that can help you.
Great.
Just to let you know. I can make them miss you.
Oh, that would be very helpful indeed. So, I have made it to the bottom. I'm at the bottom of the stairs when I am assaulted by the kobolds.
Yes, they jump out from under the stairs with little daggers and their teeth to attack you. You guys are about the same height.
Oh, hey, look at that. I don't like that. So I think my first reaction is, you know what? Today has not been a very good day for Tracey Cavorte. A lot of things have happened. I'm under a lot of mental stress. I'm gonna beat them all up.
Oh, yeah? Okay. That definitely sounds like strike.
If you do that, I probably can't make them miss. I have like an interrupt, defend a friend sort of thing. It's called protection.
Oh,
Well, your protection will go off if Tracey is about to take harm from them, either through a mixed success or a miss, and then you can spend that die and cause them to miss there.
Ah, prevent the harm. That's nice.
Yeah, that's how I read that.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
okay. So then Tracey Cavorte is gonna whip out the dagger that he had forgotten about earlier, but is now remembering and making use of.
Great. Dagger gives you a D6 on your die pool. You are in shadows, by the way, because as I've mentioned, this is not a well-lit place.
Ah, very good for me. So that is the D8 from Force.
From Force, yep.
And the D6 from the talent die.
Yep. And a D6 from your dagger.
And from the dag. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I got a 12 and a 4.
So 16?
16. That's better than nothing.
It's a mixed success. So first of all, you're going to take out one of the threat boxes, right? So it was a 3 because there's 3 of them. And are you going for the kill here, Tracey?
They steal your tricorn hat, so you kill him?
Well, if I am under a lot of mental stress, but also
See if
I'm not
anybody
sure
takes
I
his
want.
hat again.
I'm also considering the people I'm with. I might be normally all for killing people, but I don't want to put myself on worse terms with Freya than I already am. So just this once, I'm gonna use my violence in a less lethal way.
Okay. So you're going to strike to knock out, to incapacitate in some way. All right. So how do you incapacitate one of these kobolds?
Well, I use my dagger, and I know a thing or two about using a dagger, okay? I've used daggers before in situations that may or may not have had something to do with those numerous unlisted times that I was in prison. So, I aim for spots that reduces mobility, and while they recoil from that injury, I try to trip them up or get them in a headlock, whichever comes to me first, the big heads or the little feet.
All right. Okay. So sounds to me like you're going for some soft tendons in their legs.
Yep, going straight for the tendies.
Yeah. All right. And you hamstring one of them real good. But of course there's 3 of them, and one of them gets a good hit on you with a little dagger, unless somebody does something hefty.
Oh, is Tracey about to get injured?
Tracey's about to take harm.
With volume alone, I distract the kobolds who are attacking my friend. They didn't see that 1-foot-tall possum with the ukulele, nor did they expect it. Why would they? And I'm going to roll. I mean...
That's fair.
Yeah.
It's completely fair.
Yeah.
So this is a defend move.
Yes, defend is will. Yes, Freya?
Is it a regular-sized ukulele that is like as long as the possum? Or is it a possum-sized ukulele?
I've been thinking about that. So technically, I found my ukulele in the trash. It wasn't custom made for me, which means that yes, it is. Here, I have one. I'll show you. I have a few ukuleles over here. This is the smallest ukulele sold. And I'm going to measure it right now. 16 inches from top to bottom. So it's kind of like I'm Cloud in Final Fantasy, where the thing strapped to my back is the length of my body, and it's like a giant sword, except it's hollow and it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. I was just trying to picture it, and I wanted to make sure I was picturing it right in my mind.
I could cosplay at an anime convention as Hefty with the coolest ukulele.
Yeah, you get like a cello and just make sure it only has 4 strings.
Yes, but so much lighter because
Cellos only
ukulele
have
is
4 strings.
Oh, there you go. So a cello is just a giant ukulele then.
sort of. They're heavy.
In one interpretation of reality, perhaps.
So
yeah.
Hefty, you get your will, you get your you said you're spending your discipline die for this, right?
Yeah, I'm checking it off on my character sheet. Protection.
Okay.
Make an enemy miss. So my will die is 6. My protection is 6. Am I far away from this enemy? No, not really. Not all that far away.
Not terribly, but I'm gonna give you a D6 for your ukulele. But you got 6s on your other rolls, right? Or you didn't roll them yet?
I haven't rolled anything. I'm saying I have a D6 for will. I'm putting dice in a little pool here. I have a D6 for discipline protection, and I have a few things. I'm just going through the check boxes. It says get a talent dice whenever your understanding of battle strategy tactics will help your situation. Just say yes or no, GM. I don't
Yes.
know. Yes? Okay. It says feats skilled when using the archery discipline, double that dice from your modifier dice pool, but I don't think I'm far enough away to get that. Or the gear, bow, ukulele advantage, add 1d6 to longer distances. I think that's a no. My boon is I can
that's
create
a no, but I do think
music.
you get a D6 just for using your ukulele, which is your primary implement.
Okay. And then do I get the boon, which is I can create music? This might not be music.
But
okay.
That's just a that's just a thing you're doing here, right?
Is boon different than gear for number of d6s added?
I don't. Boons don't give you a D6.
Oh, okay, all right, and
They're just permission to play on that. They're just that's a thing you do.
do talents give you d6s?
Yes, they do.
Okay, talent is I know about music.
Okay,
I don't know. Is that a d6?
I'll let you do it. Sure, why not?
Sweet. All right. I don't know. I'm just understanding Dungeoncaster a bit more.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 5d6.
Okay.
The highest was a 4.
Okay.
And then I roll a d20.
And roll your D20.
17 again. But this is a physical dice, and it hit the sidewall, so it's not like weighted or anything. I rolled a 17 as my first roll of the day. All right, so 17 plus 4 is 21, which means I
Full
get
success.
inspiration.
You get inspiration and, of course, XP. The one that was about to hit Tracey with their knife is distracted, tremendously distracted by your
Surprise
playing.
possum.
Surprise possum. And barks out when that happens, and misses completely on your friend and ally.
And I would like to, for flavor, after the missed dagger, Tracey does a very swift elbow in the face to the kobold that almost hit him.
Nice. Okay. Freya, the violence has broken out. What do you want to do?
Well, she's not opposed to other people doing violence. She can't, like, she doesn't condone violence, but she also doesn't live anyone else's life. So she's actually going to try to defend Tracey by throwing the remnants of her shawl over the face of the kobold that he didn't knock over.
Nice. Okay.
So not hurting him, but trying to make it so he can't attack Tracey again.
All right. So we're going to build that die pool as well. So defend is with will.
So that's a D8. Mm-hmm. Would you give me my craftsmanship of a Well, I don't know. It's in my inventory. Do I get... So that's a D6?
I'd give it to you because, again, that's part of your talent.
Okay.
Right?
So then yes, and do I also get one because I'm using an item in my inventory? Or does that not count as an item in my inventory?
I would use your focus of power, which on your character sheet says walking stick staff, but I'm gonna let you tell me what Freya's actual focus of power probably is.
Honestly, it's probably her knitting die or her knitting. Her
knitting needles.
What's the word? Needles. There we go. Mm-hmm. That's probably what she would use.
Okay, so doesn't apply in this case. Your knitting needles, they're just like wands.
Yeah,
What?
exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so my dice pool then is an 8 and 2 6-sided, and then obviously the 20-sided.
Yeah.
So 15 plus 8 is 23.
Okay, full success. Again, you get an inspiration and an XP.
Right.
And you throw your shawl over the third kobold before it can strike at Tracey. Between the three of you, you have subdued this threat of this kobold ambush, and you hear now further in the yapping voices of several kobolds. For further kind of, like this is kind of like a largish basement area. And yeah, you hear them a little further on.
Are they coming towards us?
Nope. You take a second to listen and use your senses. And no, they don't seem to be coming towards you.
Would that be my heightened awareness, carefully using my senses before confronting a threat? Mm-hmm. Awesome. So I get 1 talent dice after when we go in.
Yep. What would you like to do?
Well, Tracey, you've been leading the way so far. Off you go.
Yes, that's true. I have been leading the way most of the way, and there's still plenty of shadows. So I guess I'll go take a little look-see, just a little peek-see.
Okay. So do you want to well, I'm gonna do this. So the threat here is a gathering of kobolds up ahead. You're gonna stealth up there?
Oh yeah, I am stealthed up. I've been stealthed up.
I guess what I'm asking is, have you already used your stealth discipline?
I have
think
not,
you did,
actually.
Oh, you haven't? Okay. Would you like to?
I would love to. In this instance, this is the perfect instance to use that,
It really
I think.
is. I think so. So this is still scouting. So that's with force, and that's a D8. And then your stealth discipline, if I'm reading your character sheet correctly, is a D8 as well. You're
That's
definitely
correct.
in the shadows, which gives you a talent die. And I don't hear any of your companions offering to help here, so maybe that's what you got.
All right.
Don't forget to re-roll your ones.
Good point. Okay, I got another mixed success. I got an 8 and a 7. That's 15.
Okay. All right. So on your missed success, you sneak up, and you do address one stage of this threat, which is a 3-stage threat, by the way. And so you sneak up, and you see there's a gathering of these kobolds, some of who are in fact blue, so that they're kobolds, just for you. And they are surrounding a a couple of kobolds that are standing in the center of the room, and the room itself appears to be a laundry room. There's like a sink and an indoor like clothesline for some reason.
Drying your clothes in the basement.
Well, you know,
kobolds.
There's like a bin of torn up rags and scraps of fabric next to the door, not far from where you are, and as you get up there, you see that the two kobolds in the center of the room apparently are having a very formal conversation in Kobold with each other, in Draconic, really. Do any of you speak Draconic?
Nope.
I have no clue what to say.
Okay. That's okay. It's like a series of growls and snarls, but they seem to be very formal with it. And
Wait, Hefty, didn't you use something to understand the monkey with the symbols language? Could you use that here?
I could, and I'm not sure what languages I speak. Like, I think when mechanically I'm allowed to take more languages, it would make sense for me to, but I didn't mechanically take Draconic. Like, there's a box, and I took Vernacular plus Literate because I was able to take 2. So, I don't know, not mechanically, but I'm not exactly speaking Common. You know, I'm a possum. So, anyway.
Well, magically, that's right.
Yeah, who knows? It's a plant. So, whatever. But yeah, I could definitely use Appraise, which is a plus charisma, read or understand one another. Or I could try to, but it sounds like this is not a threat, and I would have to spend inspiration to make it one.
So it is a threat in that the gathering of kobolds is a threat, but you're not there yet. Do you want to come up? Remember, you've been described as way in the back this whole time. So do you want to come up?
How far away does a person have to be to hear? That's a good question.
You have to be closer than you are right now.
That seems worthwhile. The advantage of hearing and understanding them would be good. So yeah, it's probably worth it.
Okay.
I'm going to move up.
So Tracey, do you come back and like signal them to come up then?
Why not? I see a situation I don't understand. I call the backup crew of the understanders.
The understand. People that are smarter than me should be here. I'm going to go get help.
Tracey and the Understanders sounds like a doo-wop band from the 50s.
All right. So Hefty, you come up. Freya, do you come up?
Yes.
Okay. And Hefty and Freya, you're also pretty small, so I'm not going to make you roll for this stealthiness that Tracey had to. But I will say that when you get up there and you start kind of listening, you realize that some of the kobolds have realized that you're there, and they've sort of.
Oh, well, that doesn't make it worth listening to at all.
No,
I don't want to hear him say, "Look, people."
No, the like kind of kobolds that are near the door have sort of turned to you, and they've got their hands on their knives that are on, like they're all wearing kind of like harnesses or belts or whatever. They've got their hands on the knives, but they're looking at you more cautiously rather than drawing those weapons to attack you. What do you all do?
Was it one in the middle that was talking?
Yeah, there's 2 in the middle that are talking to each other. They don't seem to have noticed you, and nobody has raised an alarm to alert them to your presence yet.
I'm going to quickly try to understand what they were saying before those things happen.
Okay, so go ahead and roll that appraise.
So that's a D8. That's why I'm here.
Yep.
And I don't think I get anything else, but it's still a D8. That's a 6.
D8.
That's pretty good. I'm going to roll a D20 now. That's a 6. So that's a 12 overall, which I think is bad. But
it's a mixed success. It's a mixed success.
Yeah, that's bad in this game.
I've just been kind of playing a little hard so far, so I'm gonna try to ease up a little bit here. But so what happens is one of the stages is resolved. You do add to the threat resolution. in that you start overhearing what they're talking about, and it sounds like there's some kind of magical ritual taking place. And and as part of your appraisal of this situation, you notice that what they're standing on, like one of them is standing literally on top of a pile of stuff. And some of it looks familiar. Like you see a tricorn hat in that pile of stuff. And there's like various bits of junk, and you think maybe you can even smell your own newspaper, because let's face it, that is probably one of the most comforting smells that you've ever had, and you pick up on it right away. And they're standing on top of it, and they appear to be doing some kind of weird magical ritual, as one of them says, and so I present to you all Shrad Silent Lash, chieftain of our clan, who will now undergo the great ritual of transformation. And then the kobold takes a couple steps back as the figure in the center, Shrad, lifts up a dagger that is glowing, and he says, Hear me, great clan of the Silent Lashes. In this moment, I shall ascend.
Oh, okay. So it was like transformation. I was like, I'll watch a butterfly happen. But then when it was like, I'll be misguided to accidentally stab myself, I do want to intervene. So since I can understand what's happening, and since I am long distance from them, waggles eyebrows. I would
you're
rather,
long distance from them.
Great. I would rather non-lethally force soundwave concussion them out unconscious than allow them to stab themselves in the heart with a dagger. So I'm going like full attack, like biggest attack possible on them, because it's a ukulele. I don't think I'm going to kill them. I think all my attacks are non-lethal. So.
I'm cool with that. Just a reminder, you are full on attacking the chieftain of this clan in the middle of their clan.
Yeah, but if I don't, they die, so...
You don't know that. He's doing a ritual.
On a newspaper, so I'm going to judge them as a player.
You lay newspaper down when you're going to make a mess.
Yeah, they're going to mess up my newspaper.
Yeah, I mean, it's clearly like a mound of all the things that they've stolen. So like your newspaper's in there, but it's not like laid down as a drop cloth. It's like it's mixed in with everything.
I have one split-second decision between me watching a person accidentally off themselves.
That's
I'm
fine.
going to ask questions later. Stop it now.
Totally cool.
So, sorry, guys. I know you might not have been itching for a combat with your harm accumulating. And
I have a plan.
All right, good. Cover for me, because I'm doing something stupid. Great. Actually, you know what? You know what? I learned a song. I want them to fall asleep, not be injured by this.
Okay.
So I am specifically I was like, when will it come up for me to make someone sleep? I don't think it's going to come up. I think I'm going to spend the whole session. It'll never happen. I learned this song for nothing. But, sleep sounds like a really good plan for a person holding a dagger saying they're about to transform.
Okay, you want to render them unconscious, however that happens.
And that's going to be with this song.
So... Yeah, go ahead and play your song. I just have a question. Is this like one of your disciplines, or?
I have so much dice for this. We're going to read them off. All right. So discipline, archery, ukulele. The bow has a 1d6 advantage to longer distances. I have a d8 in this with my discipline. I have an extra d6 because it's long distance. I have skilled as a feat. When I use archery discipline, I double that dice for your modifier dice pool.
Okay.
So there's going to be a lot. But I'm also using my ukulele, which uses my talent. I know about entertainment and music, so that gives me a d6 too. And then I double all these dice. Stuff's about to happen.
No, you're just doubling your discipline die.
Yeah, which is a d8
with that feat. Yeah, I know. Yeah, but you don't double all the talent dice and everything. Okay. Just the
discipline dice. So this is going to be my largest dice pool of the night.
Okay.
And here goes.
Go ahead and play your ukulele. Let's hear your song.
Okay. All right. Heads up, everybody. I don't know how to play the ukulele. The player of Hefty, the character. I'm learning
Yet.
it for this season. And by the end, in like December, I'm going to know how to play the ukulele. But right now, I've learned a song for
Let's
you
hear it.
and your listening pleasure. Press skip 30 seconds if you don't want to hear this.
Don't skip it. Don't skip it. We love it.
Free will. They can skip it if they want. Okay.
Twinkle, twinkle,
I'm supposed to be double playing that.
twinkle, twinkle, little star. How I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. How I wonder what you are.
Look at that. I did genuinely memorize a song.
That's amazing. I'm giving you an advantage die as well.
I love the image of this just being like a large echoey chamber. And everyone's just silently watching Hefty slowly get through Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Nobody interferes for the whole 30 seconds. I love it. Oh, that fully did take 30 seconds. I'm looking at the track. All right. So I'm rolling a lot of dice now. I got the D8 for the discipline, which I'm going to double. I don't know if I double the value or the dice. I think it's more fair
you
to
just
roll
double the
2
dice.
dice.
You just you just roll the 2 dice.
Okay, that's a 2 and an 8. Okay, 8's going to be the highest. I'm not going to roll any other dice. So
That's fair. Yep. Okay.
Smart.
going to roll a D20, and that's a 2 on the D20. So 8 plus 2 is 10, which is
10,
above
okay.
a 9. So that for the listeners, the ranges are 9 and below, 10 to 19, and 20 and above. So that's it worked.
Yay! All right, congratulations. Something else goes wrong and the situation is complicated. So
That makes sense.
It does make sense. So you get the attention of the clan leader. He's not going to fall asleep. It's more that you get him to stop the action that he was about to take. Okay.
Doesn't plunge dagger into heart.
It's hilarious. You think that's what he was about to do. So he turns to you and like all of the kobolds that are near you when you start playing, because you are, as we established, you are essentially attacking their chieftain, draw their daggers. But he holds a hand up and he says in the common vernacular, "Hold, let these guests of ours come and speak their piece before the mighty transformation will happen."
All right, we got a stage. I'm the charisma one, so I guess I'll keep going, you guys.
So, do you mind if I do something?
Yeah. Please don't will them into submission.
What do you mean?
You're the will one. Tracey's the force one.
I am the will one.
Okay. What are you doing?
I would like to use my last. Well, real quick, what sort of dragons are these? Oh, I guess if they're kobolds, they're from kobolds. They're from blue dragons.
Well, they're kind of a mix of different colorations.
Then I am going to cast my last illusion to turn myself into a really big blue dragon, as big as will fit into this room, and not squish kobolds.
Okay, so a very small blue dragon then. You are in a basement.
Real baby blue dragon. Wow.
Okay, then a blue dragon that, according to my illusion, is poking its head in through the wall that it has just busted open.
Alrighty.
And I'm going to use Resolute, which I can spend an inspiration die to automatically succeed on 1 die per session, because that is my feat.
Okay.
Make it your D20.
Well, I automatically succeed on 1.
Yeah, it just is. This die roll doesn't have to happen. It's an auto.
I
It's as
succeed.
it's as if Freya rolled a 20 on the dice.
And I want them to be very afraid and cowering under this blue dragon's scrutiny.
Okay, so the effect is that the dragon head will appear and be there, and this is an illusion. You can't impact whether it causes them fear.
Well, can I
Right.
demand their surrender then?
Sure, that you can do. But whether they will do that, I mean, they believe a dragon has just appeared to demand their surrender. But whether they're going to surrender is going to depend on them and the new threat that we're establishing now. Okay. So, new threat.
Then I am confused as to what my role would do if it doesn't do what I want it to do. I'm not trying to argue. I'm just trying to understand the rules.
You have created for this scene. There is now a blue dragon that the kobolds believe is there, and probably Tracey at least believes is actually there. I don't know. I don't know if Hefty does. Maybe.
I mostly
Maybe.
smell. My eyes are crap. So
Yeah. So maybe you're like, that smells like the wall. So maybe Hefty knows it's
Wall
not.
when I smell it.
Right. So to everyone except for you and Hefty, a blue dragon has just entered this scene
Okay.
and is complicating things, and you can use it to speak, and it'll have, probably advantage on dealing with kobolds, but it's not like
Gotcha.
it's this isn't a charm spell, it's an illusion. So
You advance the situation.
you've advanced the situation for sure. So the new threat here is going to be that oh my God, there's a dragon.
Oh my God, there's a dragon.
And we're gonna give this threat because this is now a very complicated negotiation. So this is changing our negotiation to we're gonna bring this down to 2, I think, stages, because I think that's about the point at which narratively people are either going to realize there's a dragon or they're going to succumb to the dragon. One way or the other, we're gonna figure that out. So. Hefty, just as you're about to parlay with the chieftain, the Kool-Aid dragon bursts through the wall.
I thought I was gaining control of this situation. I didn't realize I was making it even more weird and complicated.
We've
I love
just
it,
added
though.
a new variable.
I freaking love it. The Kool-Aid dragon bursts through the wall. For you, of course, it's like, why are they all reacting so strangely to whatever is that thing, like paper mache or something? Because you can tell it's not real, because it doesn't smell like anything. Or does it? This was your high die, wasn't it?
It was.
Oh no, it does smell like dragon. I take that back.
Yeah, no, there's a dragon. Wow.
This is gonna be the full Monty for sensory.
I freeze, which would heal me 1 force, but I don't have any
Would you
force
play
harm.
dead?
No harm.
Has Hefty received no harm this session?
None.
Meanwhile, me and Freya have been through the ringer.
That's why I was going to confront the big bad. Oh, anyway. Now I'm frozen. Sorry.
I was trying to help you. I didn't mean to make it about me.
But guess what? Now you're the one parlaying. So
Good luck.
So the kobold chieftain turns to the dragon and says in Draconic, because of course the dragon speaks his language, even though you don't.
Of course it does. Of course.
So Hefty, you hear it say something to the effect of, "Oh, mighty dragon, I am now ready to join your ranks."
Freya's gonna whisper to Hefty, "It's not a real dragon. I need you to tell me what he's saying."
It's an involuntary physiological response.
Is there any windows nearby?
I could probably roll for like a praise, but it's just a D8 for my charisma. Like, that's it. It's not like the dragon's singing Draconic. Do you want me to roll a praise?
It's
to
a musical
understand.
language.
Nope. Do you want to do that?
Yeah, I mean, your average D20 is a 10, and your average D8's a 4, so I'm going to probably 14 this and get a mixed success. Be able to understand what they said. Then I can
All right,
whisper
I'm not
back
going to
to
give
you.
you disadvantage on this because this is really just perception, and you're just frozen, not brain locked.
Yeah,
So-
the only things that can move are my fingers and my speaking. I don't really know if I have lips and talk. It's not been described. All right, so that's a 6, actually. A huge failure.
So does that mean she doesn't know or she tells me the wrong thing?
Oh, probably the second one.
I like the second one. I like the
Narratively,
second
that's a better
one
story.
a lot.
Yeah.
Hefty,
I'm
do you
just
want
going to make this up. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You also get XP for this, so you know.
I'm going to use a Mad Lib generator.
Yeah, and you're gonna take some harm there to your charisma.
It's my first
Yeah.
time.
It
All
is.
right, I'm going to randomly generate 4 words.
Okay, they're saying that the migration of the kobolds lacks nerve and that the remedy is a tie.
Am I hearing any of this?
Yeah, you're there. I mean, why wouldn't you hear that?
Oh, okay. Then I'll just my input. What?
The migration of the kobolds lacks nerve and the remedy is a tie.
No, I heard you. I just
Remedy is a tie.
I don't speak kobold.
Freya is going to try a gambit here and say in common from the dragon's mouth, speak common so the interlopers can understand us.
Ooh.
Okay. So on that failure though, also this escalates this scenario,
That was a
right?
fail. That wasn't even a mixed
It was
success. How you
big-
wanted a mixed success? You liked those? This isn't even that.
Like this isn't even that. So on the failure, this escalates, and as the chieftain says, you know, I'm ready to join you now and everything, and Hefty is doing her translation.
quote unquote.
The chieftain takes the dagger, drags it across the scales of his arm, not plunging it into his chest, by the way.
This is still self-harm.
Well, okay, yeah, content warning. And holds his hand high so the blood drips down onto this pile of treasures, I guess.
Your hat, my newspaper.
Your hat, your newspaper, like these things, and they begin to glow, and you begin to see things starting to change shape, just as the illusionary dragon calls for them to use common. And so one of the kobolds that's near the rest of you all says, yeah, why are we even speaking this ancient language anyway? None of us really speak it. Yeah, like my grandmother spoke Draconic. Come on.
Yeah, what were they saying about a migration?
And then a third one says, shut up, the chieftain's changing. Look. What do you guys do? The chieftain appears to be growing in size. Do you want to do anything to stop this at this point?
I'm out of ideas, guys.
I want to grab my newspaper and get out of this basement.
Yeah, I think the new plan is to escape, because if this is becoming a dragon, then they are about to burst through this basement with actual Kool-Aid Man energy that I do not want to be in the room with.
Yeah.
I'm with you guys. Let's beat feet.
Somebody pick me up.
I will grab Hefty.
Thank you.
Just like horizontal pickup.
Okay, so just as you're picking each other up and starting
So-
to run and everything.
I know this isn't what you said, but in my mind, you're carrying her by the tail because she's still frozen.
It's okay.
No,
You're strong.
Okay, I changed my mind. That's how I pick up Hefty.
And I think one of the kobolds near you actually says, "Hey, isn't that Hefty?" As you guys start running.
As I am hefty over my shoulder like a trash bag.
And one of them even calls to you and says, "Hey, Hefty, no, wait, hang on." And as you guys start running for the stairs.
Hey, no time. Yeah, that's really great and all, but we have to escape on account of us reaching the end of a situation very abruptly.
Freya, do you leave your illusionary dragon there?
I mean, if I get rid of it, it's gonna disappear and I can't use it again, so may as well. It'll at least cause a distraction and them try to talk to it for a while.
Okay. All right. So the three of you run for the stairs, and I'm not even gonna make you roll for this because you were opting out of the rest of this threat. You run for the stairs, and as you hit the stairs, you can hear like from where this transformation was happening, as like there's like magical energy, and there's light starts going, and you can actually hear like the sound of, it almost sounds like leather cracking, right? As the chieftain of the kobolds makes his final transformation into becoming a dragon. Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad we got out of there. Good guess, guys.
Yeah, and the kobolds are yelling, yeah, they're cheering and everything. And one of them's like, "Hey, find out what that other dragon's name is, who our great witness to the transformation." So they seem very excited. You make it to the top of the stairs, and Torrent is there and says, "Oh man, I missed it."
I trip him.
At this point, it's not really tripping. You just knock him over. There's like a blue bunny print on his chest.
Sorry, I had to do that one last time.
All right, and the three of you run out of there, and book it out of there, right? Leaving behind the horde of stolen property, all of which none of it was really like monetarily valuable, just sentimental value, right?
And they encroached on our FBK turf.
They did, take advantage of a particular situation to thieve from you.
Yeah.
The next day, you all receive there's a note for you at the Fire Breathing Kitten Guild Hall. It's addressed to Hefty and her two friends. They don't know your two friends by name.
That's fair.
Yeah, they were judges, but they were new.
Right. And the note says, and it's signed by Shrad of the Silent Lash clan, and it says, "Shrad the Silent Lash thanks you for witnessing his great transformation. You will herefore be known as a friend to the Silent Lash clan."
I read it to my friends because I am literate, and then personally I say, "But I'm not friends with thieves." And then Tracey looks left and right and doesn't say anything.
I stay silent for once.
I never stole anything.
You aren't able to return the belongings to everybody because those were left behind and have become part of a dragon's hoard, a very important thing to them. But Nulisag thanks you for the great story when you explain it. However edited that story is, yeah. And you, if you choose at any point to make direct contact with Shrad, he will give you a permanent marker of your friendship with him.
So at least we got something out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, us and many people have lost potentially the most emotionally valuable and sentimental object that we have held on for almost our entire lives. Except for me, I got it like last Tuesday, but
It's definitely going to make next week's game interesting because that was on my character sheet. So I
sorry.
was physically located in a dragon's hoard, but always in my heart.
Right. Yeah. I mean, by now you've memorized it, right?
Of course.
Well, in a future game, we'll have to get it back for you.
There you go. All right. Thank you all for playing. You've been listening to Fire Breathing Kittens with Hefty, Tracey.
hey, so does this blue paint actually come off, or is this just a thing now?
That's up to you to decide.
Oh, great.
And Freya.
Freya is walking across the room with like a spot cleaner coming after Tracey with a rag and some spot cleaner to get that blue off of him.
Bye.
Bye.